How am I going to get Freddie to propose to me?
Oh, that's a cinch. Well, I can give you all the answers.
I'd better warn you, it never works for me.
It's you and me from now on.
Who else?
Nobody? So you're different from the rest, huh?
Why, you double-crossing, half-baked Casanova.
Well, it's practically your whole life, and besides, there isn't much else to talk about, is there?
Huh? Why talk at all?
Hey guys, actress Carol Landis was an actress from the 1930s and 1940s. Her breakout role was as the female lead in the 1940 film 1 Million BC from United Artists. She was popularly known as the Pink Girl. That was a nickname given to her by Frank Seltzer. She was also known as the Chest because of her curvy figure. She was a good actress. She was beautiful, well-dressed, and I think she deserved so much more than she got in life. Somehow, her story breaks my heart. She was born Frances Lillian Mary Ritzty on January 1st, 1919 in Fairchild, Wisconsin. She was the youngest of 5 children, a Polish farmer's daughter and Norwegian-American Alfred Ritzty, a drifting railroad mechanic who abandoned the family after Carol was born. According to her biographer, E.J. Fleming, there is circumstantial evidence supporting that Carol was likely the biological child of her mother's second husband, Charles Finner. Charles Finner left her mother in 1921 and remarried a few months later. In 1923, her family moved to San Bernardino, California, where her mother worked menial jobs to support the family. When she was 15 years old, Carol Landis dropped out of San Bernardino High School and decided to pursue a career in show business. She first started out as a hula dancer in a San Francisco nightclub. Her boss described her as a nervous, $35 a week blonde doing a pathetic hula at her opening night at the Old Royal Hawaiian on Bush Street. That will never get her any place in show business. It appeared that he only employed her because he felt sorry for her. Later on, she would sing with a dance band. When she was able to save $100, she moved to Hollywood in 1937. She bleached her hair blonde and she took the screen name Carol Landis in honor of her favorite actress, Carol Lombard, and baseball commissioner, Kennesaw Mountain Landis. She later changed her name legally to Carol Landis on April 23, 1942. In 1936, she was signed by Warner Brothers. She later appeared in 24 films that was mostly low budget by Brian Foy. By 1938, she was working in the studio's major motion pictures like The Adventures of Robin Hood and Boy Meets Girl, but those were uncredited. She was not satisfied, so she moved on to Republic Pictures. It was a small studio, but it was efficient. It specialized in action pictures. This studio paid more attention to her, giving her leads in 2, Three Musketeers Western and a serial Daredevils of the Red Circle. Hal Roach was getting prepared for the movie 1 Million BC. It was a dramatic film about prehistoric people menaced by the elements. He hired a movie pioneer, D.W. Griffith, to cast the picture. Roach said they had already decided on Victor Mature as the man and Lon Chaney Jr. as the father. They brought in girls, and Griffin would look at them, and he would take them to the back a lot. Turns out he was making them run. One day he came back and said, "I found your girl, and that is Carol Landis." He said they went out on the back, in the back lot where there was a street scenery on the corner, a telephone post. He looked at the girl and said, "Take your shoes off. Now run to that post as fast as you can. Then run back to me as fast as you can." She did. He said, I've had 50 girls run to the posts and back, and she's the only one who knows how to run. You're not going to make a believable girl in the picture of that kind who runs like an average girl. She's got to run like an athlete, a deer, and she could. Hal Roach saw that Carol had the potential to be a star and signed her to a contract in June 1940. He cast her in three more starring roles. The most popular one was Turnabout in 1949. He returned to Republic. She returned to Republic for one more film, the Judy Canova comedy, Sis Hopkins in 1941. She later got a contract with 20th Century Fox, and she started having a romantic relationship with the studio chief, Darrell F. Zanuck. She played in roles with fellow pinup girl Betty Grable in the musical Moon Over Miami and the crime drama I Wake Up Screaming in 1941. When Carol ended her relationship with Zanuck, he stopped furthering her career. She was still in the contract, but now she was getting lesser pictures. Fox loaned her out to other studios 3 times. Her last 2 films, Noose and Brass Monkey, were both made in Great Britain. During World War II, Carol Landis became a popular pinup with servicemen. In 1942, she traveled with comedian Martha Ray, actress Kay Francis, and dancer Mitzi Mayfair. They served for the USO in England in North Africa. 2 years later, she entertained soldiers in the South Pacific alongside Jack Benny. During that year, she traveled over 100,000 miles and was the actress who spent the most time doing this activity. While she was traveling, she became seriously ill due to amoebic dysentery and malaria. In March of 1943, the Fashion Academy named Carol Landis the Best Dressed Woman for 1943 in its screen classification category. The Fashion Academy honor was based on an annual poll of leading designers to select the 12 best women of the nation for 12 different classification categories. She starred on Broadway in 1945 in the musical A Lady Says Yes with the future novelist Jacqueline Suzanne in a small role. Carol wrote a number of newspaper and magazine articles about her experiences during the war, including the 1944 book Four Jills in a Jeep, which was later made into a movie co-starring Kay Francis, Martha Ray, and Mitzi Mayfair. She also wrote the foreword to Vic Herman's cartoon book, Winnie the Whack. Regarding her personal life, Carol was married 4 times. In January 1934, at 15 years old, she married her first husband, 19-year-old Irving Wheeler. Her mother would have the marriage annulled in February 1934. She ended up persuading her father, Alfred, who happened to live near the family in San Bernardino, to allow her to remarry Wheeler. The two were remarried on August 25, 1934. 3 weeks later, Carol and Wheeler got into an argument, and Carol walked out. Neither of them had filed for a divorce at the time. Then Carol had began pursuing her acting career. Wheeler happened to reappear and then filed a $250,000 alienation of affection lawsuit against director and choreographer Busby Berkeley, even though Wheeler and Carol were not together. The lawsuit was dismissed. In 1939, Berkeley proposed to Carol, but later broke it off, and then in July 1940, she married yacht broker Willis Hunt Jr. in Las Vegas. She would leave Willis Hunt after 2 months of marriage due to him allegedly abusing her. They were divorced on November 20th, 1940. While she was touring camps in London in 1942, she met United States Army Air Force's Captain Thomas Wallace. They were married in January of 1943. The wedding received a 2-page photo spread in Life magazine. Carol would also write an article about her honeymoon for the June 1943 edition of Photoplay. They would separate in 1945. She would state that no woman ever loved a man more than I loved Tommy Wallace, and Tommy loved me too. All my life, above all the rest, I want to remember that. On the 8th of December 1945, she married Broadway producer W. Horace Schmidlap. They would separate in 1947, and Carol filed for divorce in May 1948, accusing Schmidlap of extreme mental cruelty. And Carol, she didn't have any children. During her separation from Schmidlap, she began a relationship with actor Rex Harrison, who was at the time married to actress Lily Palmer. The alleged affair was well known in Hollywood as an open secret. Carol was reportedly heartbroken when Harrison didn't divorce his wife. The story goes, on July 5th, 1948, unable to cope any longer with the situation, she took her own life in her Pacific Palisades home at 1465 Capri Drive. She was 29 years old. It is said that she took an overdose of Seconal. Before taking her life, she allegedly wrote a note to her mother expressing remorse for the pain her actions would cause. She expressed to her mother and family members her love and asked her to find her will, which left everything to her mother. She signed off as your baby and requested her mother's prayers. Harrison was allegedly the last person to see her alive, having had dinner with her the night before the incident. The next afternoon, Harrison and Carol's maid discovered her on the bathroom floor. Harrison allegedly waited several hours before he called the doctor and the police. Some sources said that she left another note for Harrison, who instructed his lawyers to destroy it. During a coroner's inquest, Harrison told the coroner that he did not know of the existence of a second note. After Carol died, Harrison downplayed their relationship and publicly claimed that she was just a close friend of himself and Palmer. On July 10, 1948, at 12:30 p.m., her service was held at Forest Lawn Church of the Recessional by Bishop Fred Al Pyman. During her service, Pyman sang her favorite hymn of In the Garden. She was interred in Forest Lawn Memorial Park Cemetery in Glendale, California, in Plot 814 of the Everlasting Love section. The celebrities that attended her service includes Cesar Romero, Pat O'Brien, Eddie Sutherland, and Van Johnson. Her estranged husband, W. Horace Schmidlap, also attended with his wife. It was reported that they both left the funeral early and refused to look at Carol in her coffin during viewing. Carol's story is heartbreaking to me. It would seem like she never got a chance to be really happy. That's how it seems to me. She has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which was dedicated to her on February 8th, 1960. She was honored with a 28-inch bronze statue that is inside the Fairchild Public Library in her hometown. Carol Landis was a beautiful and talented actress who deserved better than what she got. Rest in peace, Carol Landis.